The role of RVC is training the horses, breeding the horses, training the horses, and also treatment along with it. Now, there are two types of mules. One is general service mule, other is mountain artillery mules. 1 सितंबर ਨੂੰ ਵਾਰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ
ਜਿਸ 65 ਵਾਰ
65 ਚਾਰ ਸੇਬਰ ਜੈਟਸ ਆਏ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਚੱਕਰ ਲਗਾਇਆ दूसरे चक्कर स्टैफिंग धड़ाधड़ फायरिंग मेडिकल स्टोर खोले you find bullets in our even cotton rolls and what not huge bomb drop किया we could see तब कुछ आवाज नहीं आई मतलब it was napalm bomb आग ही आग बिल्कुल चारों तरफ.
Hello everyone, welcome to 4G Days. Today we are in for a treat as we have the privilege of speaking with Colonel Harbir Singh Davra, an exceptional veteran who has soldiered with the Indian Army's Remount Veterinary Corps, also known as the RVC. The RVC is a unique and little known branch of the Indian Army responsible for providing veterinary care and support to the Army's horses, mules, and other animals that are critical to logistics and transportation. Colonel Davra has not only seen very close action in some of India's most significant wars, but has also taken part in thrilling adventures and served as an instructor at the National Defence Academy or the NDA. So join us as we uncover the fascinating role that the PVC plays in supporting the Indian Army's operations. We'll also get to know Colonel Davra and his deep passion for nature and wildlife conservation. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of 4G Days. Today, we are fortunate to have with us Colonel Harbir Singh Davra, who has soldiered for over 27 years and served with the Indian Army's Remount Veterinary Corps, popularly known as RVC, as a veterinary doctor and expert on horses. He has worked closely for wildlife preservation, and nature remains very close to his heart. In fact, today we are grateful to be shooting this episode in his family's nursery, Plante Paradise. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
You are welcome, please.
Sir, so you have been a veterinary doctor and you chose soldiering and you chose to join the Indian Army. Can you tell us more about your youth and your inspiration behind joining our services?
During my childhood, when I was studying in the school, I found one of this boy who was son of our school teacher, who had joined this JSW Joint Service Wing to become an officer. When I saw him in the uniform, it impressed me a lot. So I said, okay, I will also join the army when I grow up after finishing my completion of my studies here. That was the first thing. Then later on, I was told by somebody that you are not fit to join the army because you don't have any personality for that. So that prompted me that I will join the army. That is how I joined.
That's wonderful, sir.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned that you served in the Remount Veterinary Corps. However, it is one aspect of the Indian Army that people don't know much about. So can you please tell us more about its role in both wartime and peacetime?
A Remount Veterinary Wing, a Remount Veterinary Corps. Remount actually means a untrained horse. And veterinary is veterinary for the treatment of animals, etc. So the role of RVC is training the horses, breeding the horses, training the horses, and also treatment along with it, and prevention of diseases among the animal, whether they are in the peace or in the field. So that is the main role. And for उसदे वास्ते साढ़े कोल पूरे इंडिया दे विच laboratories, stud farm means where we breed the horses. वो है ने. Then we have got depots where we train the horses, and after training they are given to the user units. That is our role. Yeah.
And what sort of do they play an active role in wartime, and how do you actually?
Our RVC is जो RVC है oh, it is not a fighting arm. It is a sporting arm. So sporting arm means that these animals are given to ASC or mountain artillery where they use them. And
Yes.
we provide a veterinary cover. During war, we evacuate the casualties, animal casualties, where they're being used for carrying the ammunition, rations, etc. So then we are on the backside, like medical. We also have the ambulances to evacuate them, yeah, to transfer them anywhere
Wonderful, sir. So
from
you
from forward area to the bases. Yes.
So you rightly pointed out that the Remount Veterinary Corps has played a wonderful supporting role when it comes to wartime operations. And we've also heard that the mountain regiments of the Indian Army are actually sole inheritors of a 100-year legacy that comprised of brilliant soldiers and animals from the British Mountain Artillery. In fact, it was also the Army Services Corps that heavily relied on animals to actually reach remote areas and for transportation purposes. So animals, and particularly here I want to talk about military mules, they have been the backbone of a lot of our mountain regiments, whether it comes to transportation or actually getting work done and even supporting over there. So, and they have been honored and they have been decorated for that purpose. So can you tell us more about this unique role between our soldiers and mules?
Now there are two types of mules. One is general service mule, other is mountain artillery mules. Both have got similar roles to carry. To carry, one carries the guns, other carries the ration, ammunition, and other things supplies for the
Yes.
जवान्स. Now जो ये जितने भी म्यूल्स हैं दोनों टाइप के वो उस जगह पे होंगे जिथे roads नहीं है. Only tracks are there and they supply everything on the top of the hills where their troops are established. So for that reason, the mules are a must. Now, in the present age, the roads have started building up. आज ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ क्या है कि ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ जो नंबर है वो रिड्यूस होता जा रहा है क्योंकि दिस व्हीकल कैन गो अप. अच्छा फिर क्या सी कि जो म्यूल्स एंड हॉर्सेस जितने भी हैं ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ अच्छा नो देयर आर टू टाइप्स. The two types means one is user, other is supplier. Now ASC, you have mentioned that.
Yes.
ASC is a supplier of mules. Because they are established at place from where they can supply everything to the mountain tops or the field area, everything. In Burma War, these mules were used and their mules were being para-dropped in the hills.
Wow. Wow.
So that is why because they were being used, कि कोई ट्रैक नहीं है कुछ नहीं है, राइट टाइम पे पहुंच जाएंगे, they will carry the mule और अपना यूज कर लेंगे.
So there's definitely very close relationship that the our Indian military shares with animals and the support role that they play. And I'll jump from one animal to the other, from mules to now dogs. And I read somewhere that a 2-year-old army dog called Axel was actually killed in action during operations in Jammu and Kashmir. And he was given a ceremonial guard of honor, and then he was laid to rest in the army dog unit in which he served. So the Indian Army's dog squad has actually, they are actually the first respondents to any anti-terrorist activities that happen in Jammu and Kashmir especially. So again, just as you mentioned the close relationship between mules and soldiering, there's also a key role that dogs play in our in Indian military. So can you tell us more about their role?
For the dogs, we have in Indian Army, in RVC, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 4 to 5 type ਦੇ dogs ਨੇ, and they are mostly bred in RVC center and school. Say like Indian patrol dog, casualty detection dog, IED detection dog, then this guard dog and trackers. All the dogs are highly trained for their specific jobs. अगर एक डॉग इंडियन पेट्रोल डॉग है, that will be used only for petrol dogs, patrolling, not for other jobs. So otherwise, they will forget their own main job. So for that, they are being trained in the RBC Center and School Merit. So they have got highly trained the trainers. So from there, then they are posted to various places where these ambushes are going on, or where there are some
From again dogs to horses, simply because you have been an expert in horses. In fact, you were training Indian Army cadets at the National Defense Academy as an equitation officer. So, because of that experience and that expertise in treatment and breeding of horses, you were also picked up by racehorse breeding farms, and till today you are deeply involved in it. So, can you tell us more about your love for horses?
yeah, actually love for the horses started. I was sent to Punjab Armed Police. They have got about 450. They had 450 horses. So that is they have got this. Their branch is Mounted Armed Police. I was sent there from this Punjab state government to on deputation to this mounted police. So I worked there for 3 years, and during that time I learned this riding, basic riding, then tent pegging, etc. So from after that, this my love for the when I joined the army. So it was all horses for me, horses and mules, not dogs. I was not dogs and cattle because we have got cattle in the army now all disbanded. So it continued working with the horses and mules. So there are four studs, army in this breeding studs in
Right.
army. One is at Babugad near Hapur, and then Saharanpur, then Hisar, and Hempur district Nainital. So two are mainly breeding studs and two are depots. There also we breed the horses and mules, but their main role is to train the horses and issue to the user units. So then I was picked up for breeding only. So I would we treat the animal, but mainly for the breeding of horses. So it continued. So then so more and more I was with the horses only. Say from 62 till today I was with the horses.
Horses.
38 plus year 22, 60 years.
That's wonderful to know, sir. That's wonderful. In fact, it's evident with the activities that you even do today after retirement that you've shared a very close bond with horses and you know them inside out.
And one thing is, the horse also identifies the man who is handling the horse or who is sitting on the horse. Identifies. When I was doing the equitation course, the moment we enter the gate of the horse line, I will call my horse Ruby, but she will start neighing. They didn't identify.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I think that is how animals are actually special, you know. We sometimes don't know how to identify these traits. But it's for people like you who
और
horses identify.
वो ये भी पहचानते हैं कि who is sitting on my horse back और उसको मैंने गिराना है या नहीं गिराना है.
Yes, yes. Have you had any fun incidents like this?
No.
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 That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, you've also had a very adventurous life. Of course, you have been closely involved with horses and the Indian Army. But you participated in the Chinnar Trishul expedition in 1978. In fact, I happen to have a clipping of the same over here.
yeah.
And that was a cross-country travel from Srinagar to Leh. And for our users, it is 425 kilometers over 6 days. And that was with troops and horses.
6.5 days.
6.5 days.
Yeah.
So, how was that experience like, and can you tell us more?
It
about
was with a wonderful experience. We were first we were seeing the weather chart every day because it was a long distance,
Yes.
long days,
Yes.
and there should not be any rain en route. So for that reason, we were waiting and waiting till it was given clearance by this meteorological department that there is no rain, etc. You can start your expedition. So we started from Leh, from Srinagar, and first day we covered only 30 to 35 kilometers. Later on, we carried on, and en route we had established camps for feeding of the horses,
Yes.
for grooming of the horses, then feeding of the men, so like 3 officers and 3 jawans. So then we carried on. So the purpose was to see the area, and then if there are civilian people en route, to treat their animals. That was our main role.
So how many men and troops actually participated in this?
3 officers and 3 jawans.
Jawans.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And did you face any challenges on the way?
Challenges, there was one at Zojila Pass, when some boulders came down from the top.
Okay.
And we all escaped. There no injury to anyone. And there, then by we camped, a lot many sheep were there. तो उन्होंने बस आके सर ये इसको ट्रीटमेंट कर दो, इसको ये है वो है. So we treated the
Everybody who came along
and
the way.
that was the purpose also. Then familiarization of the area. Okay, if something happens and war is there, how we can. That was the thing. There was no problem at all, except at one place we lost the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you actually find your way back then?
No, our team commander was Major Matthew. तो उसने एक जगह देखा कि देर पत्ते पत्ते गिरे हुए हैं, ट्रैक जा रहा ऊपर कि मेरे कहा कर्नलदार हम इधर से चलेंगे. मैंने कहा ये रास्ता नहीं है, स्ट्रेट नहीं सर, ये देखो पत्ते जा रहे हैं इधर. तो वी कैरिड दैट एंड वी रीच रिमोट एरिया. पहुंच गए हम. पहुंच गए and it was a very deep slope where we had to get down from the horses, hold the horse, and gradually we moved down to the river bank was there. तो वो पहुंचे वहाँ. तो we were 6 घंटे हम अपने जहाँ पहुंचना 6 घंटे पीछे हो गए.
Oh wow.
तो पहुंच गए तो वहाँ कुछ वहाँ ट्रुप्स थे उसके लद्दाख स्काउट्स के. मैंने कहा भाई कहाँ पहुंचे? कहता सर आप बहुत पहुंच गए, तो आपको हम छोड़ देंगे सड़क रोड हेड तक, फिर आप चले जाना. अच्छा, ऑल आर फीलिंग हंग्री. तो उन्होंने फिर दे ब्रॉट एप्पल्स एंड एप्रिकॉट, जो हॉर्सेस ने भी खाई हमने भी खाई. फिर हम
actually local support is essential, you know, I think where the local support you are able
बहुत.
to.
फिर उन्होंने whereas जो हमारी अपनी पार्टी थी, जो उसका कमांडर था एक नायक था, जीप लेके अपना सड़क पे घूम रहा के सारे किधर चले गए. तो अल्टीमेटली दे फाउंड अस व्हेन वी रीच द रोड. तो ऑन दैट डे वी वर ऑन द horseback till 11 o'clock in the night.
Wow.
Thank God there was full moon.
Very exciting and adventurous as experience, of course. So you've closely witnessed the 1965 and 1971 wars with Pakistan. How was your experience like?
Experience was, I was telling, कि ਜਦੋਂ ट्रेनिंग ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬੈਟਲ ਇਨੋਕੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. ਬੈਟਲ ਇਨੋਕੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ live rounds are being fired, grenades are fired, then all these things, and you have to go through it ताकि ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ जो ਉਹ ਡਰ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਗੋਲੀਆਂ ਛੋਲੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ, ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜੀ. ਇਹ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ. ਸਿਮਿਲਰਲੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਫਸਟ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਗਿਆ, already all that our vehicles were lined up for move. It was in J&K. So my this officer commanding said, pack up, or you are already packed up, have food, and we are going forward in J&K area. तो चले गए. 2-3 जगह मूव हुई, आ जाते बैठे हैं, फिर अगले 2-4 दिन बाद किते और फाइनली वी सेटल्ड ऑन समवेयर. देन हॉस्टिलिटी जो सी पाकिस्तान के साथ ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड. इट वाज मंथ ऑफ मई एंड जून. शुरू हो चुकी सी. ਰੋਜ਼ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਧੜਾ ਧੜ ਗੋਲੇ ਧੜਾ ਧੜ ਬੁਲੇਟ ਚਲਦੀਆਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਸਨ। तो अल्टीमेटली 1 सितंबर ਨੂੰ ਵਾਰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ। तो
This is 65 war.
65 और 1 सितंबर ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ। ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਟੈਂਕਸ ਆਏ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਤੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ। ਉੱਥੇ ਐਨੀਮਲ ਬੇਸ ਸੀ ਸਾਡਾ।
Okay.
ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਐਨੀਮਲ ਬੇਸ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਜੋ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਿਊਲ ਸਨ ਜੋ ਕੈਰਿੰਗ ਮਤਲਬ ਜਨਰਲ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ, ਆਪਣੇ ਟਰੂਪਸ ਇੱਧਰ ਆ ਗਏ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਮਿਊਲਸ ਕੈਪਚਰ ਕਰ ਲੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਦੇ ਵਰ ਸਿਟਿੰਗ देयर। तो they started using it also ultimately। ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਮਿਊਲ क्योंकि दे नो ऑल द रूट्स, चाहे इस तरफ जाओ चाहे पहाड़ तो जाओ, दे नो कि किस तरफ जाना है। एक दिन ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਰਟ ਆਫ ਵਨ ਗਨ ਉੱਤੇ ਲੋਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੇਸ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਿਆ। That is how that mule was decorated। तो एक्सपीरियंस जो है ना ये तो ये वैसे हो गया। दूसरा सी कि ਜਦੋਂ ਵਾਰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਈ तो we were on the जितने सर्विसेज ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ we are in the services।
Yes।
they are sent backward area, forward ਰਹਿੰਦੇ troops ਦੂਸਰੇ fighting forces। तो ਅਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੇਸ ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪੂਰੀ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਉਸ ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ। तो 15-20 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਡਿਸਟੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਸ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਗੋਲੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। तो ਅਸੀਂ ਅਜੇ ਕੈਂਪ ਪੂਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਐਸਟੈਬਲਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਧਰੋਂ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ 3:15 ਵਜੇ ਜਾਂ 4 ਵਜੇ 3:30 ਵਜੇ 4 ਸੇਬਰ ਜੈਟਸ ਆਏ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ। ਇੱਕ ਚੱਕਰ ਲਗਾਇਆ, ਦੂਸਰੇ ਚੱਕਰ ਸਟੈਫਿੰਗ ਧੜਾ ਫਾਇਰਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਿਊਜ ਬੰਬ ਡ੍ਰੌਪ ਕੀਤਾ। ਵੀ ਕੁਡ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਕੰਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਉਂਗਲੀਆਂ ਪਾਤੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆ ਗਈ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਜ਼ਦੀਕ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ। ਕੋਈ ਵਾਰ ਡੱਪ ਕੋਈ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਈ। ਮਤਲਬ ਇਟ ਵਾਜ਼ ਨਪਾਮ ਬੰਬ।
ਓਕੇ
ਨਪਾਮ ਬੰਬ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਅੱਗ ਹੀ ਅੱਗ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਚਾਰੋਂ ਤਰਫ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜੀ। तो ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ ਉਹ। ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਕਾਫੀ ਹੋਇਆ, ਅੱਗ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੱਗੀ। ਸਪਲਾਈ ਦੇ ਬੈਰਲ ਪਏ ਸਨ ਪੈਟਰੋਲ ਦੇ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਲੱਗੇ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਬੰਬ ਬਣ ਗਏ। ਤਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਇਹ ਮੈਂ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਬੈਟਲ ਇਨੋਕੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ, ਦੈਟ ਵਾਜ਼ ਆਵਰ ਬੈਟਲ ਇਨੋਕੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਜਵਾਨ ਕੋਈ ਡਰ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜੇ ਉਤੋਂ ਪਲੇਨ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਰਡਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ ਭੱਜਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਖੜੇ ਰਹੋ ਜਾਓ ਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪੇੜ ਖੜਾ ਬਸ, ਕੋਈ ਡਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ। ਬਹੁਤ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ। ਤਾਂ ਦੈਟ ਵਾਜ਼ ਦਾ ਬਿਗੇਸਟ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਫॉर ਆਲ ਆਫ ਅਸ। ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਅੱਛਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਅਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਵੀ ਤਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ। ਤਾਂ ਬਸ ਇਹ ਮੇਨ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਸੀ। ਐਂਡ ਆਲ ਸਰਵਾਈਵ। ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਟ ਲੱਗੀ ਸੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਕ੍ਰੈਚ ਹੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਬਸ, ਨਥਿੰਗ ਹੈਪਨ।
It's all about the training
Yeah, that was training। तो फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता then we started establishing ourselves। पूरी यूनिट ਨੂੰ ਅੰਡਰਗਰਾਉਂਡ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਣਾਏ, ਆਫਿਸ ਵੀ ਥੱਲੇ, ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਵੀ ਥੱਲੇ, ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਥੱਲੇ।
Very interesting experiences of
ਇਹ ਤਾਂ that was 71 J&K। as a matter of chance or ਕੁਝ ਲੱਕ 71 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਸੇ ਯੂਨਿਟ 'ਚ ਮੇਰੀ ਪੋਸਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ।
अच्छा
after serving for one tenure in breeding stud ਉੱਥੇ ਪੋਸਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ। ਉਹੀ ਤਮਾਸ਼ਾ।
Repetition, that's what war is like, you know, that's how it plays
a good experience।
yeah that's true sir, that's true।
ਅੱਛਾ ਜੋ ਜਦ ਸਟੈਫਿੰਗ ਕਰਕੇ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਕਸਿਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਖੋਲੇ, ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਸਟੋਰ ਖੋਲੇ, you find bullets in our even cotton rolls and what not। इतनी स्टैफिंग ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ।
So the Chinnar Trishul expedition was of course one that you participated in, but there are also many other competitions and awards that you have won। So can you tell us more about those as well?
ਇਸ ਤੋਂ after Leh Ladakh I was posted to NDA। ਔਰ NDA ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਾਇੋਰਟੀ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਪੋਸਟਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਕਿ the officer should be equitation qualified। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਕੈਡਿਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨੂੰ एक्चुअली वो अफसर ਜਾਂਦਾ ਟੂ ਕਮਾਂਡ ਆਵਰ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਵੈਟਰਨਰੀ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਫਸਰ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਪੋਲੋ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤਾਂ ਐਬਸੈਂਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਭਾਲਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਈ ਯੂਜ਼ ਟੂ ਬੀ ਵਿਦ ਦ ਕੈਡੇਟਸ ਫॉर polo, for normal riding, for jumping, for tent pegging, everything. तो I used to participate with them all the time. तो polo ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ। ਫਿਰ ਦੈਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਟੂਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਇਨ ਮਹਾਲక్ష్ਮੀ ਰੇਸ ਕੋਰਸ ਦਿੱਲੀ, ਬੰਬੇ। ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਨ ਜੰਪਿੰਗ, ਟੈਂਟ ਪੈਗਿੰਗ, ਫਿਰ ਸਿੰਗਲ ਸੀਟਰ ਗਿਗ ਇੱਕ ਘੋੜੇ ਵਾਲੀ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਆਇਆ, ਟੈਂਟ ਪੈਗਿੰਗ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਆਇਆ, ਮਹਾਲక్ష్ਮੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੰਪਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਇਆ।
Wow, that's great, sir. Very exciting and very a lot of new things and things that we don't see very often, but you have experienced.
So I was always with the cadets for during riding.
So you have, of course, been a vet, worked with animals all your life. You are a nature lover. You have worked for wildlife conservation. So you have, and you've also, of course, you spoke about this expedition. So you have seen wildlife closely, whether it's Ladakh, whether it's Arunachal Pradesh. So can you tell us more about these experiences where your love for nature, wildlife, conservation actually comes from?
Love for nature वो ऐसा है कि कोई भी एनिमल मिल जाए कि दैट इज आवर फ्रेंड, कोई भी मिले। तो जो जानवर ऐसे थे, लाइक ये जैसे कैट्स हैं, एक वाइल्ड कैट थी, आई वाज ऑल अलोन इन माय मेस। तो वो उसने आना, एक दिन आई तो मैंने ऑफर किया उसको, बाइट आगे चले गई। जब खाना खा लिया वो चले जाएगी, उसके बाद डेली आएगी, उसके साथ अट्रैक्शन हो गई। तो एक दिन मैं चले गया आगे, दिस तवांग एरिया में चले गया। तो आई केम बैक आफ्टर ए मंथ। तो आते मैंने मैं से पूछा वो बिल्ली का क्या हुआ, कहते वो आप चले गए, वो नहीं आई। तो मैं वाज स्टैंडिंग जस्ट अप इन फ्रंट ऑफ माय दिस रूम। तो she was standing there near down below on in front of men's langar। जैसे मेरे को देखा, she ran coming to me and चाऊ शुरू हो गए बस। तो इसमें अट्रैक्शन तो है, उनको अटैचमेंट हो जाती है ना, ऐसे ही सब एनिमल का है। एंड बिकॉज नो किलिंग, I don't believe in killing any animal, जैसे लोग करते हैं। And wonderful animals are there। ऐसे एक flying squirrel, big squirrel, actually उसको बोलते flying है, लेकिन flying नहीं होती, वो अपने बॉडी का जो स्किन है उसको एक्सटेंड कर देती है। जंप किया, एक्सटेंड किया, ग्लाइड करती है वो, तो वो पहुंचती है। इतने बढ़िया बढ़िया जानवर हैं।
So do you think we are doing enough to understand and conserve this, you've spoken about such different types?
एक जगह था ना, जैसे we had red panda in that area। red panda जंगल में जो they eat only bamboo shoots। तो वो उस एरिया में बैम्बू शूट खत्म हो गई। तो हमने अपने जवानों को बोला आप गाड़ी लेके जाओ, दूसरे पहाड़ पे जाओ, उधर से बैम्बू शूट मिल जाएंगे। इधर तो स्नो से खत्म हुई, तो आप अपना लेके आ जाओ। तो वो उन्होंने गाड़ी भर के ले आए, तो वो हम जंगल में छोड़ आते थे। इन द मॉर्निंग आफ्टर 2 days खत्म हो गई, फिर भेजा फिर गया। दैट वाज कंजर्वेशन।
So it's all about small steps, ना?
Yes।
छोटे-छोटे steps लेके ही
फिर लाइक दैट ओनली के एक इधर लद्दाख में था ब्लैक बियर का बच्चा, उनको तो रेस्क्यू किया। हालांकि उनके नील का डर लगता है, लेकिन उनको रेस्क्यू, देयर नो प्रॉब्लम।
That's wonderful, sir. I think that's very inspirational to know that हमें लगता है कि जब हम कंजर्वेशन की बात करते हैं तो बहुत बड़े एफर्ट्स करने होते हैं, बट एक्चुअली छोटे एफर्ट से स्टार्ट करने से ही। और
एनिमल्स तो बहुत अच्छे अच्छे उधर हैं, जैसे अभी स्नो लेपर्ड उधर थे, स्नो पिजन थे, बाय दे यू कैन नॉट सी सिटिंग बर्फ में बैठा, यू कैन नॉट सी।
यस,
like that।
So on a kind of a concluding note, I have read that your brothers were soldiers. Your son also carried on that proud legacy of serving in the Indian Army. And then your granddaughter has actually shared your passion and become a vet. So so your legacy essentially has carried on over generations. So as a veteran, as a vet, as a nature lover, what sort of a message do you have for the youth of the country today?
My main message will be to achieve anything, one has to be very honest, one has to be very hardworking and true to the nation. Not like you should not be a selfish man. And similarly, they should inculcate the same habits, be honesty, then say sort of hard work. To their subordinates also. Don't expect for self. Let them do and watch. That's all. And they must respect. They give some time to our nation also to cull the wrong thing doing in the. They should be bold enough to point out the things.
That's bravery, and that's where courage lies. That's true. So thank you so much for your time. It is, you are an inspiration in many ways, and your experiences have been very unique, to say the least, you know, as a vet and as a soldier. Thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful learning from you.
Thank you.
Friends, our Faujis have been and continue to be the lifeline of our nation. Come hell or high water, they have always been there for us, whether in times of war or natural calamity or any other challenge India has ever faced. And the culture, traditions and history of the Indian military are part of a rich heritage, painstakingly preserved by one and all. To cherish and celebrate this heritage, a unique initiative called Fauji Days has been launched by the budding startup 99 Beagles. So what is Fauji Days? Well, it is primarily an oral history project based on interviews and recordings. Faujis always have tons of stories to relate, many of them inspiring, thought-provoking, funny or engaging, and highly satisfying for the curious, especially young adults in their formative years. These engaging interactions between officers, men and women from our services, with young adults from schools and universities are being captured on camera by us. We want to showcase the diversity of lived experiences on the one hand and the perceptions and expectations on the other. Allow me to also add that the scope of Fauji Days initiative is not limited to just oral history. It also encompasses the written word and the world of military publishing. Already, several books by eminent military authors have been published under this umbrella, and all have been well received by the readers. The Fauji Days website is another crucial resource designed to house the diverse aspects of this project. It features multiple blogs, reference and archival material, and a community newsletter that highlights the progress made, as well as the new recordings and books. Feel free to log on and subscribe. I warmly welcome you to be a part of this initiative, no matter what color uniform a Fauji wore, or whether he or she served on terra firma, flew in the air, or rode the waves. The fact remains that each one of these brave hearts is a reservoir of remarkable tales and cherished memories. Fauji Days wants to share these memories and tell these tales to a much wider audience. If a nation is made of memories, then Fauji Days will prove that Fauji men and women have contributed some of the best. As a Fauji, you can reach out to us and tell us about your rich experiences. Get in touch and we will revert with an audiovisual team equipped to capture your recall. Or if you're too distant, we can guide you about how to record and send it to us. Of course, you can also write your tale and send it to us to be featured here. We have the wherewithal to capture you on video from whatever location on the planet. All we want is to know your story so that India knows her story better. It is incomplete without yours. Please also feel free to send your contributions to this archive of India's valor in the form of nostalgic pieces, anecdotes, pictures, or other content you may wish to share with the wider Fauji Day community. On behalf of Team 99 Beagles, I thank you. As they say, Fauji Days never end. In fact, they are just beginning. So, Fauji Days forever. Jai Hind.